All right, so the WBD sale is done, and the aftermath is already peak Hollywood. Because while everyone online is arguing about who won, three things are happening that tell you exactly who's really winning. One, David Zaslav is cashing out more than $100 million in stock. Two, Netflix walked away from the entire WBD mess with a $2.8 billion termination payment. And three, now we're hearing the next consumer-facing move. Max and Paramount Plus getting combined, with the promise that, and I quote, HBO stays HBO. So today's video is simple. Who got paid? Who got stuck holding the bag? And what changes for you next? Let's go. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Critical Nerd, where we keep our expectations low and the receipts high. If you want fast, clean updates on the WBD saga without the PR perfume, hit like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell, because this story is moving in real time, and the next headline is always one filing away. All right, we start with the move that lit the internet on fire. So here's what happened. David Zaslav is selling stock worth north of $114 million. Now, I have to be clear here. Executives, well, they sell stock all the time. That's not the controversy. The controversy is the one thing Hollywood can never escape: timing. Because we're in the middle of the biggest corporate reshuffle in modern entertainment. People are worried about layoffs, cuts, slates, budgets. And what happens to HBO? What happens to DC? What happens to Max? And the headline that hits everybody's phone is CEO cashes out 9 figures. Even if everything is legal, even if it's pre-scheduled, even if it's totally normal, the optics are nuclear. And here's why that matters. Because in Hollywood, perception isn't just part of the game, it is the game. So what does a move like this signal? It signals we are leaving the deal era and entering the money era. It signals the next phase is not creative renaissance. The next phase is corporate cleanup. It signals the suits believe the deal is effectively locked in. And now it's time to start rearranging the machine. And if you're a viewer, if you're a fan, you should hear this as, okay, the spreadsheets are now driving. Because after mega deals, the first priority is not the story, it's stability. Not art, not bold bets, stability. And stability, it has a body count. Now let's talk about the funniest outcome of this entire saga. Netflix, they didn't get WBD. Netflix didn't get HBO. Netflix didn't get DC. Netflix got a $2.8 billion termination payment. That is a wild sentence. Most companies lose bidding wars and get nothing. Netflix loses and gets a check so big it looks like a lottery win. And what that tells you is simple. Netflix negotiated a deal where walking away still pays. Paramount wanted WBD badly enough to accept the cost of breaking up that agreement. And now Netflix gets to go right back to business while someone else deals with the massive integration. So Netflix exits this mess with money and without a headache. And here's the part that's going to matter over the next year. Netflix didn't just avoid the headache, they avoided the integration hangover. Because when two giant companies combine, it's months of chaos. It's tech migrations, org charts, brand strategy, budget fights. Netflix gets to sit on the sidelines, cash the check, and keep pushing content without having to rewire an empire. So if you're asking who won right now, Netflix won today. They didn't win the castle, they won the payout and avoided the war. Now here's the part that hits you directly, because this is the consumer-facing bombshell. Max and Paramount Plus are getting combined. Yeah. And the pitch is basically one larger platform, more scale, more leverage, one place to live. But the key promise, because they know exactly what you're afraid of, is this: HBO stays HBO. Meaning HBO keeps the prestige lane, HBO keeps the premium identity, HBO doesn't get turned into a generic content tile sitting next to Celebrity Bake Off Season 47. That's the promise. And understand why they're making it, because HBO's the brand with the highest trust. If you mess with that, you mess with the only thing in streaming that still feels like quality control. So the promise is HBO stays HBO. Now here's the real question. Does that promise survive the spreadsheet era? Because combining services usually means tiers reshuffled, bundles pushed, and tiers pressured. And yes, the inevitable price changes. Even if HBO stays HBO, your bill might not stay your bill. So the most likely short-term outcome, a combined experience that slowly nudges you into more ads, more dollars, or both. And this, my friends, is where the fine print matters, because the fine print tells you what they're preparing for. This deal includes a ticking fee if the close drags, meaning if time becomes the enemy, shareholders get paid extra. And there's a regulatory termination fee so big it basically screams, we believe regulators can make this ugly. So yes, the sales headlines hit, but the story now becomes integration, regulatory risk, debt pressure, and the big one, which parts of the business get trimmed first to make the numbers work. That's the post-deal reality. Not fan theories, not press releases, reality. So, who really won this week? Netflix won a check, Zaslav won a cash-out headline, and the audience? Well, the audience is about to find out what one combined platform really means. So I'll ask you, what happens first? Price hikes, layoffs, or the big bundle rollout? Drop your prediction in the comments, and if you want the next update the second a new filing hits, you know what to do. This has been The Critical Nerd. Keep your expectations low and your receipts high, and I'll see you in the next one.